Hey everyone, welcome to Sunny Commutes, a podcast where I combine the worlds of web development and business and share my experiences. This is podcast episode 72, where I'll be talking about continuous learning. So this is something that I think is really important, just a lesson that you should learn when it comes to different points in your career, whether you're currently in college and especially if you're in computer science, which I'll get to how that relates in terms of coding and finding a passion for what you want to be doing. But also outside of college, whether you're looking for a job, your first job, or you've been in the industry for a while. This applies at so many different points in your career, which is why I think it's really important to at least become self-aware of whether you're seeking out those types of opportunities to continue to learn, or you're just kind of stagnating with your current skill set and you're not growing your fundamentals. So let's go ahead and first mention some of the points why you might want to continue to learn. The first one, of course, is that technology is always moving. And if tech is always moving forward and you're not moving alongside with it, then you're going to get left behind. This also means that your skills that might be currently marketable are not going to be as marketable in the future. And that, of course, makes it really difficult to find new jobs, find new opportunities. That could be even with side projects or client work. And just stagnating at your current job prevents you from moving forward if that is something that you are trying to do. So regardless, though, even just new opportunities, right? So whether you don't want to move forward and you kind of just want to stay in the same developer role, in the future, whether you're whether you're at the same company or not, you're not always going to be able to use the same skill sets to do the current work, because the company is always going to be moving alongside with technology, might be moving at a different pace compared to other companies, but eventually things will change completely. You're not going to notice it as it incrementally changes, but at a certain point, everything's going to be different. And a lot of people get into these types of situations where the rug kind of gets swept under their feet, and they get really scared of not being able to find not being able to keep up at that point, because there's so many skills that they weren't able to keep up with. And I've actually gotten in those types of situations before, because I would think that my current skill set in front-end development, for example, is pretty solid, but then after a couple of years I kind of continued to build with those current skills. So I build my apps in the same way, and then as the trends keep moving forward, I'm keeping up with technology, I'm like aware of it, but I don't learn and pick up those new skills in terms of actually incorporating them into what I'm currently working on. And then the debt of all of those new skills that I could have picked up ends up piling up together, where then I have to learn a ton of new things to be able to consider myself a modern front-end developer. So if anything, definitely keep up to date incrementally, and don't get left behind and realize much later when it's kind of too late. And the final point is just for fun, just to be able to keep up with technology. A lot of it is exciting, so it doesn't even have to be for just finding a new job or finding new clients and stuff like that. It can be just for fun, because you enjoy it, because it's a passion, and it's just exciting to work with the new technologies. Now here's some hopefully actionable advice. If you are in college, keep in mind that your major doesn't really matter, at least not as much as your interest or passion in what you want to do in the tech field. And so this means that even if you are in computer science in your college right now, you need to do beyond what you just learn in school, and you're going to want to find experience and skills outside of just your classes in school. Now, another common thing that I've noticed about people that go into computer science as a major is that they end up hating coding, and a lot of students will drop out because they realize, oh, coding's not for me, computer science is not for me, it's too hard, it's not fun or enjoyable. But then when they actually use coding, if they learn coding later on, and they build fun projects, they build applications, they build websites, and they flex a lot of their creative muscles in terms of implementing animations, doing graphic design and just building these like fun experiences, or building even like tools and things that they could use in their own life and to enhance kind of the things that they're doing, automation, just so many different things that coding can provide. But because they got into computer science first and got into the nitty gritty concepts and theories and data structures and things like that, that actually ends up making them believe that coding is part of that and it's not as fun or as enjoyable. It's very math oriented, which is definitely not the case, at least not in most cases. So if there's one thing that I definitely recommend, especially for those in a CS major, is that you should just go ahead and build apps on the side, learn how to code, specifically in web development, because the world of being able to build whatever you want, especially just anything creative, is up to you. So you can use that skill to build apps on the side, build stuff that you enjoy, and then build up a portfolio of just this real world work and experience to be able to become marketable, become employable later on once you're outside of college. Now, if you are employed, well, then I would suggest to ask advice on what you want to learn next, because of course I can recommend, build projects on the side, do courses, look up stuff, what's hot in technology right now. But a lot of people just don't know where to start, especially if you were in the industry for a long time, but you kind of stagnated. Maybe the company that you're at is using outdated technologies, and so you don't know what you want to learn next. And a lot of people also just don't have the time, right? They have different investments in their families and different priorities, and so just knowing exactly what you would need to learn to stay relevant in technology is important, so that you don't waste your time learning things that you don't need to. And with that, I definitely recommend just asking advice from coworkers. Maybe you have friends in tech that work at other companies, and also social media. So if you don't know anyone in person, there's industry leaders. There's, Twitter's great for the development community. You can go on there and find just, who are the kind of the leaders in JavaScript or React or different frameworks, databases, DevOps, and things like that. You can definitely just find people. They don't have to be crazy big or anything. Just ask for advice from people that it looks like they know what they're talking about. They're pretty professional and everything like that. So besides that, though, of course, just build in a real world situation. Start a side project. Start up some sort of application or something. Find a pain point that you have that maybe you could build an app that makes your online shopping easier, maybe like a Chrome extension or something like that. But find some sort of side project that will allow you to use some of the newer frameworks out there, some of the newer technologies. And so you can continue to use that side project to figure out what to search up online in terms of the skills that you might need. And then maybe courses, you might want to take a course on a framework that you plan to use for that project. And then you can also kind of start small. You can contribute to other projects in open source. Go to GitHub. There's actually a label for like beginners or beginner friendly tasks that you can do to be able to contribute to projects in open source. And once again, this goes back to a tip that I provided in the college section, and that is, continue to build up a portfolio. Obviously, you've been in the industry for a while now if you're employed, or whether you have or have not, but it's always good to build up a portfolio of things where you can say, yeah, I've used these types of technologies on this project and they're up to date. I'm familiar and have actually used the latest industry leading standard technologies, frameworks, etc. So hopefully that provides you some advice that you can take in terms of whether you're in college or you're employed currently and are just looking for ways to get into either a new opportunity in terms of a job role. Maybe you want to build up a side project, but you weren't really sure how to exactly do that. Well, go ahead and ask somebody. You can always ask me. I can provide advice as well. So anyone kind of in the industry, just go ahead and ask. Everyone's pretty friendly. And the main thing really is to be able to be passionate and motivated enough to be able to do those things, because otherwise, if you think you go into college, go through the 4 years or however long and get that degree, and think that that's all you need to be able to get, high paying job for the rest of your life. That's not something that is going to happen to everyone all the time, and definitely not throughout, as technology grows. That's definitely not going to stay around that way. So definitely continue to grow, continue to learn, and take some of these things that I've talked about in terms of, building up a portfolio, going through different courses, asking people that are knowledgeable in some of these topics, and just getting, real world type of work that you can do to be able to stay up to date. So yeah, technology is always moving. Please don't get left behind. It's actually happened to me in the past, and I always had to, kind of catch up in terms of the newest technologies, newest frameworks, and whatnot. So do it incrementally, and you'll be good. Don't forget, you can find the show notes for this episode as well as any of the previous episodes. You can listen to all of them on the website, sunnycommutes.fm. You can also find ways to subscribe to the podcast, Sunny Commutes, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any podcasting app. All of those links are on sunnycommutes.fm as well. So with that, I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.